Bob's Breakfast.
That's an amazing story, that Welsh bloke that chopped his hand off doing DIY. So this morning, what's your DIY disaster story? When has it gone horribly wrong? Have you got a good story? You can win something cool from My Tool Shed. Yes, it's a DAB radio, but it's from DeWalt, the makers of the power tools that cut your hand off the quickest. Yes, actually, I don't know if it was a DeWalt power tool that cut that bloke's hand off, but it would have done a nice job of it. The DeWalt DAB radio could be yours if you tell me your DIY disaster story. Latest news now, Chris Hubbard.
A 60-stone woman had to be winched out of her home by a crane.
Surely she could have been coaxed out with food. Simon, you enjoyed it.
I have to stop the vehicle and wash the coffee off the inside of the windscreen.
Why? What happened?
Your comment about coaxing somebody out of a flat. Are you allowed to say that? Jesus crikey. I was just taking a slug of coffee out of my flask cup, and I thought, what's she going to say? And I spat the coffee all over the front of the windscreen.
106 Bob FM.
Scary news this morning, especially if you're going on holiday to Spain, Mallorca in particular. A shark has been spotted in the water at Magaluf. So this morning, I'd like to know, what's the scariest thing that's happened to you in the water, or scariest thing you've seen in the water? Badger.
I was in Ibiza.
Yes.
And I got cramp. And I managed to get up to me waist. And I was calling out for the people I was with just to help me out the water.
Yeah.
There's all these blokes dragging me out the water. Some German guy who liked a cake and a sandwich and a pie or two, he started trying to give me the kiss of life. And then, so in the end, I got out the water and my friends came and got me. The next day, walking through the hotel, some guy nudged his wife and said that was the guy that was attacked by the shark yesterday. I had cramp.
When in actual fact, you were attacked by an overweight German who was being way too helpful and way too familiar.
Trying to stick his tongue in my mouth. Yeah.
Well, we've still got problems on the high street in Walken. It's not completely cleared up there from the accident the other day. You can give me an update on how it looks this morning, it'd be great. 01438 422 106. And we're also getting reports of Ed Miliband causing congestion with a broken down political career.
Bob's Breakfast.
A shark has been spotted at Magaluf. If you're going on holiday to Mallorca, hooly dooly. This morning I want to know, what's the scariest thing you've seen in the water, or the scariest thing that's happened to you in or near water? Sharon.
I've had many a poo that's come out when I've put my kids in the bath.
Oh dear.
Yeah, haven't you, Matilda? She's run off embarrassed.
How old is Matilda now?
Matilda is 9 now.
And how old when this incident occurred?
She would have been about 1.
Oh dear, how scary.
Well, she was more scared when Noah, her brother, then did it.
Oh, and how old was he at the time?
He was only a little baby, but every time you put him in the bath, he used to poo.
Oh no.
David Cameron's wasted no time after coming back into government with new plans to tackle radicalisation. He says they're going to be unveiled later to make it impossible for the extremists to succeed.
Yeah, here we go again. Didn't take long for politicians to be politicians. The truth of it is, I can't remember if it's the last 10 or the last 5 years, the percentage, we talked about this on the show, the percentage of terrorist attacks committed by Muslims in the name of Islam in Europe, the percentage is 2%. 2%. Most terrorist attacks committed in Europe are not by Muslims. They're actually usually it's separatists. Separatists. That's the one that's got the most. So Muslims don't commit the most. The politicians are not idiots. They are well-educated, intelligent people. They will know this fact. They will know this fact. But because perception is reality, because people listening right now simply do not believe my words when I am saying the fact that the percentage of terrorist attacks committed by Muslims in Europe, I wish I knew the time scale, but it's really kind of irrelevant. It's either 5 or 10 years, over the last 5 or 10 years. It's actually only 2%. The perception is it's way higher. If you ask most people, they'll give you a figure at least 60%.
Now, there was a list of common misconceptions published, what was it, 6 months ago or so?
Yeah.
And this was on there.
This was on there, yeah. But because that's not the stuff that gets talked about. It's not the stuff that Rolling News likes to pick up on. I'm talking about TV news, obviously not your award-winning news, Chris.
Absolutely.
We like to publish the facts. Because this sells newspapers and it gets people to tune in to TV news. This fact that only 2% of terrorist attacks in Europe is committed by Muslims, this fact is ignored. It's ignored. But so, because there is a perception that the percentage is much higher, the politicians, the governments of Europe, are bringing in things to reassure us that they're doing something about this problem. This is a problem, but nowhere near as big as it's made out to be. The scary thing is now, the politicians who know the facts, who know the truth, are using the fear of terrorism and therefore terrorism itself for their own agenda, which is to stay in power. That's really scary. That's not what leaders do. Napoleon said what leaders do. Leaders define reality and give hope. You see these movies where the general comes in and goes, okay, boys, it's not good. This is how it is. And they define reality. And then they go, and here's what we're going to do. And then they start drawing some maps and stuff. So they define reality and then they give hope. We do not have leaders because they're not defining reality. They need to come up and go, look, yes, this is a problem, but it's only 2% of the attacks in Europe are committed by extreme Muslim extremists. Only 2%. Yes, it's a problem. It does need to be addressed. But there are far bigger problems that we need to address. And one of them is separatists.
David Cameron today saying this government will conclusively turn the page on the previous failed approach. As the party of one nation will govern as one nation.
Failed approach. It's 2%. It's 2% in an overall problem. Anyway, yeah. So he's using terrorism. He's using terrorism for his own means. That's the scary thing that politicians do. They should be leading us. They should be defining reality and giving hope. But no, he's taking a non-reality and exaggerating it and then giving hope that he can fix a problem that isn't anywhere near as bad as he's making you think it is, which is helping the terrorists.
He's saying it means confronting head on the poisonous extremist ideology.
Well, it is, but it's only 2% of the problem. So he's using, the terrorists are now working for him and all of the other governments of Europe that do this.
There's a whole package of measures that they're going to talk about bringing in as well. Also, which might include immigration restrictions on extremists. It might include restricting people who are looking to radicalize young people as well. And also powers to close places where extremists seek to kind of influence others. So maybe if they're preaching somewhere. These are the whole ideas that the governments are talking about today. Whether they're successful or not.
Yeah. You know who else is at fault here? I shouldn't be saying this. I am a disc jockey who makes his living from telling fart jokes on the radio. I shouldn't be saying this. Really, the Islamic community should be standing up and saying, look, here are the facts. Here are the facts. It's only 2%. They're the ones that really should be standing up because they're the ones who have got the most to lose here because they're the ones that are going to be profiled in airports and have problems getting family members to join them and all the rest of it. They're the ones that are going to have the problem. The Islamic community need to stand up and define reality and give us hope. When you've been embarrassed by an animal. Darren.
I don't know, I seem to be one of them sort of people, like, that dogs sort of tend to like your leg.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? That's happened on a few occasions.
Yeah.
You know, it's not often, like, but you know, I seem to attract dogs.
Yeah, Darren, do you know what to do if a pit bull ever humps your leg?
No.
Fake an orgasm.
Bob's Breakfast with My Toolshed.
Being boastful can really backfire. The key advice which has come out of a new report is that if you want people to have a high opinion of you, don't tell them how brilliant you are.
Yeah, it's funny. Some people just do not like to see you successful. They just don't. So you have to, but sometimes you can't help but be successful and it becomes quite public. And you get people, I think they're called sociopaths. They're like psychopaths, but they don't kill anyone.
Right.
I had a boss once, and you know the big, it's not anymore, it's finished now for some reason, but the biggest award you can win in radio is the Sony Award. Mm-hmm. And I won, I worked at this radio station, and I'd been there about a year and a half, and I won the Gold Sony Award for the breakfast show. Well, yeah. But then this guy started giving me the cold shoulder. I'm thinking, hang on, this radio station's never won a Gold Sony Award. Ever. And I've been here like a year and a half and I've got one. And after a while, they fired me. And like within months of winning it. And I said to him, what gives? And he went, I think the Sony came too soon. That's what the boss said. I mean, and up until that stage, I'd won nothing. Yeah. Right? I'd been in radio, started out in Australia, and I won nothing. And he went, I think the Sony came too soon. And I went, it took 18 years. We got a celebrity birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Naomi Campbell. Happy birthday to you. Yes, former supermodel Naomi Campbell. It's her birthday today. If you're thinking of buying her a gift, well, your best bet's probably to buy her something that won't hurt if she throws it back at you.
106 Bob FM.
What's that? Oh, we can cross now live to our Los Angeles studio to talk to Naomi Campbell. Oh, that's great. Naomi, thanks for being on the programme this morning. Great to talk to you. I suppose supermodel, getting as old as you, it makes you pretty ancient, doesn't it? You're worried about losing your looks? All right. Okay, that didn't go well.
This story's going to mess with your head, Graham.
Okay.
If you're lost in Copenhagen, a traffic warden may come to your rescue.
No, that really is messing with my head. There's been a glitch in the Matrix. What's going on?
Traffic wardens, obviously, they're not overly a welcome sight, but Copenhagen's trying to change that by giving them a new role, as well as putting tickets on people's car, helping tourists. So they're going to be armed with new iPads with loads of information on them, as well as Ask Me signs that they're going to hold around with them so that tourists can go over and say, look, I need to find out a little bit more about where to go and visit. And they'll be trained up with knowledge of the city as well. 11 traffic wardens have been selected to take part in this new trial.
What's the sign say?
Ask Me.
Ask Me.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be just like a mobile tourist information centre.
Well, you know, this is the most positive show on the radio. We have to applaud this. Let's hear it for Copenhagen. Traffic wardens using their powers for good instead of evil.
It's a rarity.
They should
isn't it?
rewrite that song. What's from the Hans Christian Andersen movie? What was that? Wonderful, wonderful Copenhagen, salty old town by the sea. If you get lost, find a traffic warden holding a sign that says, ask me.
Bob's Breakfast.
Still to come this morning. Hang on a second. Hello, who's this?
I think I've got the wrong number.
What number did you want?
Do you know what? I've taken it down. I can't read my own writing. I've phoned. Sorry about that.
Well, who are you trying to get hold of?
Mrs. Jones?
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
A likely story.
Okay, I'll try it.
Mrs. Jones? What's your name?
Is that Mr. Jones? Jean?
Your name's Jean, right? I'm not.
No, I'm not Jean.
Oh, it's Jean Jones, right? Right,
No?
right. You think I might be Mr. Jones? I might be Mr. Jones under an assumed name, calling myself Mr. Jones.
Right, okay.
Well, I might. You never know, do you? So I never got your name though. Oh, jeez. She would have just said she was a Smith.
Bob's Breakfast with My Tool Shed. For the latest DeWalt cordless.
There's a warning: sugary foods may have to be taxed to cover the cost
Here
of
we go.
treating
Here we
obesity.
go. Here we go. This is just... What are they doing with this? What's this all about? Sugar is the enemy at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, Life Sciences Minister George Freeman has
Has he?
suggested firms making products that lead to ill health should know they'll be penalised.
Okay, and
if
they're
they
going to
insist on
tax
selling
us.
them.
Okay, now, they seem to have this idea that if you make something more expensive by taxing it, then the consumption of it will go down. I would like to say, how come some products which are more expensive than their competitors actually do so well? How come Apple sells so many computers when theirs are more expensive than other computers? How come the top-selling trainers are made by like Nike and Reebok, and the most expensive ones sell the most? So where do they get this idea that by putting more money, more tax on it, that the consumption will go down? They've introduced a congestion charge in London. I mean, is it any less congested than beforehand? They've introduced taxes on air travel. Have we all stopped taking planes because now it's too expensive? They tax petrol like you wouldn't believe. I mean, most of what you pay at the pump is tax. Are they saying that if something is bad, are they saying they're going to tax it because it's bad? If it's bad, it's taxed. If they are saying they are taxing things that are bad, what do they tax the most? Income tax. Are they saying going to work is bad? Stop, we're trying to discourage you from doing any work, so we're going to tax you more than we tax anything else.
Bob's Breakfast with My Tool Shed.
Good morning, Jan.
Yes, I'm the lady. I just heard me on the radio with you. I'm the lady about Mrs. Jones.
So hang on. Let's just get this straight. You dialed the wrong number. You were trying to get Jean Jones. You ended up getting me, and I said I could be Mr. Jones under his assumed name. Your name isn't Smith, is it?
I've got the radio. I've got the radio on, and Mrs. Jones is a customer.
Oh, I see. Right, because it's in a delay, you see, so you'll hear yourself after you've heard yourself, if you know what I'm saying, and that's what's going on there.
I'm listening to the radio, and I thought, that sounds on the... Graham, you're a bugger. That's all I can say. You're a little...
Bob's Breakfast.
This morning we're talking about autographs. Whose have you got and how did you get it? Tracy.
The best autograph I have, which is really slushy for a bank holiday weekend, I want my garden done, is my husband's autograph on my marriage certificate.
Oh, you are such a player. Tracy, the only way you can get a man to do what you want is if you promise that if he does that, you will do that special thing he likes.
I just thought if you heard that this morning...
Well, I'm just saying to you, if you really want the garden done, are you prepared to say to him on the radio right now that if he does the gardening required, that you will do that special thing he likes?
I will will do that special thing.
Oh my goodness! Good luck!
Turn your knob to Bob.
I'm Graham Mack, and I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you are, make sure you share it on Facebook and Twitter, and you can subscribe at iTunes.
Just be careful if you're planning a trip to the seaside in the next few weeks. Huge jellyfish, which weigh up to 5 stone each, are swarming off the British coast. They can't kill you, but they won't do you any good if you do swim into them.
Don't you have to get someone to pee on you?
Yes, you do. I think that's the idea, isn't it?
I don't know, but I just think, hasn't your day already gone badly enough?
Bob's Breakfast.